Hey, it's me, Dash Ireland here from Divided Spectrum, and just some housekeeping stuff. Well, just know that this is all opinion, but, and I'm going to be brutally honest about what I say, but don't take it the wrong way because since I am a person on the autism spectrum, I'm not going to be able to say things clearly, so I'll try to flesh out everything that I'm saying to the best of my ability. So before we get started, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content from me. I'll surely have a lot of stuff. So, what are we getting into if you can't read a title or look at the picture? Well, we're going into territory that's probably going to be covered in the next episode of I Hypocrites You Can't Stop Progress. Um, it's the dumbest shit of the year. Dumbest moment of 2019. Worse than Jussie Smollett. Worse than any dumb moments of the entirety of 2019 so far. And I really want to ask, how did we go so far to in egalitarianism that now a woman can't even have a say in what she can and can't do without being called a transphobe? I mean, to be honest, in my honest opinion, a person should be allowed to do whatever they want. It's called free will. And where they make their choices, don't force them. And whenever you try to force them so far and they push back or they just simply say no, you got no one else to blame but yourself. So don't play the victim. Don't be a bitch about it. Like, don't bitch and moan about stuff when you know it's your fault. And so the story goes that just Yaniv is a transgender person who called up 18 salons with three actually offered, but this person wanted to focus on the 15 that denied them to that to wax their balls. Like, honestly, no one really wants to wax balls. No one wants to handle junk, really. I mean, salons mainly Brazilian wax women's bodies because it's less of a mess. I wouldn't know, but mainly it's maybe because salons are mostly run by women, feel more comfortable working with biological women. Um, and this is just like the Colorado bakery deal. It's the exact equivalent because in Colorado, just gay couples targeted a Christian baker because they wanted to play the victim and get all fake offended because they're selfish. And here's the thing, that baker wasn't even a bigot. He's not intolerant. It's just he offered to bake a cake, but he just didn't want to bake the cake they wanted. Maybe because he didn't like it, or because it was obscene, or maybe it was above his abilities. Honestly. And he ultimately won the case because here's the thing, there are so many other bakeries around, but they wanted to target him because honestly everyone wants to be a fucking baby nowadays. And I gotta say, it's this everything just gets worse because people who cry fascism have become fascists. Then again, that's nothing new. And one rule I've always followed is you cannot control free will. So don't try to do that because you get burned. And people don't learn that they're playing with fire when they're trying to control free will, and then they get hurt, and then they blame other people instead of blaming themselves. That's basically sociopathy because sociopaths blame everyone but themselves and they can't take responsibility. But the main thing that really gets unhinged is the recent interview between Alex Jones and Just Yaniv. Now, I don't care what your opinion on Alex Jones is. I mean, I think he's a little bit of a nut job, but he's funny for the memes and whatnot. But it's a pretty weird timeline when Alex Jones is actually the reasonable one in a conversation. That that's just what makes the timeline weird. And he was having an interview with the same person that bitched and moaned that 15 out of 18 salons wouldn't wax their balls. And this person was talking about uh they think it's perfectly fine to expose a child to male genitalia. That's pedophilia, folks. That's a sex crime. And to me, that's mental illness. I think that person who just so happens to be transgender has mental illness if they're saying stupid shit like that. It's wrong. Like, but it's not mental illness. If you're saying shit that's basically you wanting to scar children, newsflash, you have mental illness. And people want to defend pedophiles saying that they have a sexual act. It's not. It's just called plain wrong. There's something wrong in their head. It's wrong to do that to children. Honestly, we need to stop putting sexuality in front of children's faces. Let kids be kids. Let kids hit each other with sticks. That's what me and my brothers did. We just picked up branches of a tree and just acted like we were sword fighting. Just let kids be kids. Stop shoving it down their throats. That's as wrong as drag queen story hour at libraries. That's also wrong. That's pedophilia. Like, no, it's totally not pedophilia. It's just tolerance. No, that's called you guys are fucked up. And then Ricky Gervais actually had something to say on it. And Ricky Gervais didn't do nothing wrong. It was less Ricky Gervais making a joke and more Ricky Gervais actually having intelligence. Unlike all these bastard liberals that are so far up their ass with tolerism that they lost their brains. And the reason why I say it is because they'll blindly defend anything and call it fascist or transphobic or anything phobic. Here's the thing, if you disagree, it's not a phobia. It's just called you disagree. And trying to shut down someone and call them all those names, that is fascist and bigotry. I've had to deal with that from many people because they were so far up their asses with tolerance. Well, quote unquote tolerance. Like I said, I would be brutally honest. And Ricky Gervais said that a woman should have right whether or not she wants to wax a person's balls. And there are even headlines about this. Like Ricky Gervais gets called transphobe because he defends a woman's right whether they want to wax balls. There's nothing wrong with that. You should defend anyone's right to refuse to wax another person's balls. Because no one wants to really handle junk. It's probably less of a mess whenever female dominated salons only want to work on biological females. It's the weirdest shit. To be honest, if people are denying you and you shut down the places that offered, looking at you, Jessica Yaniv, because 3 offered, just do it yourself. Because if you feel that people are denying you every which way but loose, and you got nowhere to go, just do it yourself. Because here's the thing, I really don't care what you do yourself. I mean, I disagree with it, obviously, but at this point, I just can't care. But there comes a point where if you have no other option, just do the work yourself. I mean, no one's telling me I can't get a haircut at their barber shop, but I cut my own hair because, well, it's just easier and less costly, even though it costs literally $15 where I'm from. And that's the problem with a lot of people today is that they don't want to put in the work. They just don't want to do anything. They just want to bitch and moan about shit that they could have easily avoided. And it's just awful. So, yeah. Hashtag Ricky Gervais did nothing wrong. And how did Alex Jones become the legit, reasonable, and rational voice in all this? How? Because to be honest, like I said, I'm not much of an Alex Jones fan, and usually I'm just there for the memes, but he's actually speaking true shit right now. This is the dumbest shit of 2019. Why is it that people are defending what seems like a pedophiliac transgender person? I mean, I'm not saying that all transgender people are pedophiles. I'm just saying that this specific one is a pedophile because they think it's perfectly okay for a child to be exposed to male genitalia. A child being exposed to any genitalia is just plain wrong, honestly. Like, I don't think children should be exposed to anything sexual as long as they're children. When you're an adult, expose yourself to whatever sexuality, I don't care. But when it comes to the children, stop trying to push sexuality in their faces. That's just wrong. That should be technically considered sex crime because it's plain wrong. People are going to hate me for this, but here's the thing. I think it's wrong that people want to force businesses to do something that they don't want to do. I think it's wrong that people want to shove things in child's faces because they think it's an idea of acceptance when it's really indoctrination and just fucked up stuff whatsoever. Here's the thing. If I walked into some satanic gift shop and I started spouting my Christian stuff or whatever I believe in, I would get kicked out. I would not blame that business for me getting kicked out. I would blame myself because I was being an idiot. It, it's basically the same as like pissing in the middle of a Walmart. You would get kicked out. You don't get kicked out because Walmart hates you. You get kicked out because you're pissing in the middle of their store. Yeah, people have got to understand this. It's the dumbest shit of 2019. And I can't go on longer for this or else I start repeating myself, and I think you get my point. 2019, the year of basically hell. But yeah, I've been Dash Island, and you've been watching Divided Spectrum, so if you want to see more content where I just go unhinged with political commentary and whatnot, go ahead and watch videos. I really don't care. It's your choice, and I have no effect on your choice. Like I said, do what you want to do if you want to do it. So, your choice. You don't have to subscribe at all, but you do you. I've got nothing against that.